playing that dangerous game again. Good clothes and paint. Don't really feel like doing anything today, but for my mental health, I'm gonna have to paint. So we stick with the tedious stuff, almost inconsequential, so we don't mess anything important up. But stuff needs to get done no matter what. And I always feel better in the end. So I'm not gonna complain. Even if I did, wouldn't do any good. We just feel what we feel and make our way through the moment. When we're doing these sides and edges, they don't have to be perfectly like the painting unless you're carrying the painting all the way around. It just needs to be similar to the painting. So when the viewer comes and sees it, it's not such a abrupt change from the side to the actual piece itself. Then it doesn't have to be exactly the same, it just needs to carry the same feeling. Even though this is not the same color as this right here, it's pulling these same colors from this part over to the side. So it's still gonna have that same feeling. It's not gonna be that abrupt change that we're trying to avoid. Like painting the sides all one color or leaving the sides blank. I like to paint my sides because I don't want you to feel like you have to put it in a frame. You can if you want to, but I don't want you to feel like you have to. That's also why I use the gallery wrap, where it has a thicker edge. Sometimes I just like the way the canvas looks on the wall, as opposed to with a frame that kind of makes it stuck in that moment instead of moving beyond. I feel like if the canvas is like this and you put it on the wall, it almost blends into the wall instead of being separated from the wall. It becomes part of the wall. So sometimes on these mental health days, again, all I do is clean up work, drawing it out, something that's not going to, if I make a mistake, make my day worse or mess up a piece that I put a bunch of time and effort into already. You know, if I do mess it up, I still can come back and repaint it. So it's not the end all. It's just that I don't want to compile more into what I'm already feeling. So I just take it easy. Now, once I get through the motion with that, if I feel like I can do more, then I'm going to go ahead and do more. If I feel a little bit more moved or in a better space, I think what I'm going to do is work on these two small pieces right there. So I feel just a little bit more accomplished. Well, would that work if there was actually some paint on there? I'm trying to, up here, pull out some of the colors that were down here. Although I don't want it too light, so I'm gonna end up darkening this up just a little bit. Because I feel like it might end up changing the feel of the piece. Because it's not necessarily dark emotions, but more of an isolated type emotion. And as you can see, I'm already pushing over to another area, which is a good indicator that I'm starting to work my way out of feeling how I was feeling. Changing my vibration to a higher frequency. This is a flying geese quilt pattern. Also can be found in slave quilts. It represents direction. And it will point slaves in the direction that they would need to go. They were sewn onto the quilts. It's actually have this tattooed on me twice, once on my leg and once in the middle of my story tattoo on my arm. So all I'm doing is just kind of laying out what color I think I want, and I'll come back and add highlights and detail on it later. But just getting it in there now, because I really wasn't even sure what color I was gonna make it. I just knew I wanted to pull the cave into this part of the painting, so it would tie it together a little bit more. So you can see we have this color down here, and then your green is in here. Probably the only thing that's completely different is the blue, which I'm pulling more out of the sky as opposed to in the cave itself. This is also part of the color that's in the clocks. So I'll probably pull some of this color and put it up in here as well, just to tie it together. felt like it was too much other color on that green on there, so I wanted to get some of that paint off. So I know for me, in order to get myself out of a particular mood or emotion that's not necessarily positive, I know I need to create. Doesn't necessarily have to be painting. I tried to work on some design for some shirts just a minute ago, but my program needed to update, which meant that I was not supposed to be doing that. So we came to this. A lot of times I don't like when the pencil or graphite ends up blending into the paint, but there are times I really do enjoy it because it darkens it up and adds to what I'm trying to do. And this is one of those times that I actually like what it's doing. So we're gonna go with it and allow it to kind of create the shade or shadow. So it starts to give it a different feel. Not so flat like. Let's take some of that over there. And I know some of these aren't as detailed, but when I come back with a smaller brush, I'll end up detailing it a little bit more. Right now, we kind of just want to get it on there. And make sure it's the actual feel that we're going for. You'll find this flying geese pattern repeated in my work. It's in the Healing Heart Generational Curses painting also. Just because it's such a huge part of, I think, the legacy, our legacy as African American people. And I'm just lightening this up a little bit to make it feel a little more rounded. Just coming down the center. And I'll work on it a little bit more. Give it that curvy feeling since it's not flat. And I'm not using white. I'm actually using lavender, a very, very, very light lavender. And what that lavender is going to do in that yellow is kind of keep it that brown, or because yellow and purple are complementary colors, and what they end up doing is neutralizing one another. Neutralizing one another, making each other a little bit more brown, which is what I'm kind of going for here. So don't forget your color theory is really important as you're working and blending into your colors, trying to achieve whatever your goal or emotion is at that moment. I'm gonna go ahead and add some of this other color in here if it's not all dried out. Well, it looks like we're dried out, so we need to find that tube of paint. Or we'll just go to a different area. Sorry, I keep floating my phone. I'll get the selfie camera together soon enough. So then you have to worry about my unsteady hand. I think I'm gonna look for some white. Guess it would actually help if I was looking at the white and not the black. Sorry. I'm not gonna go too far up because I need to be able to blend that out. And I don't want it to dry before I can blend it. Then I'll have to start over. Remember, you always want to add the color to white, not white to the color. If you add white to the color's just going to absorb all the white and it'll just make more of that color. You end up wasting a whole lot of white before you actually start achieving whatever it was that you were trying to do. Make sure you take a step back and see if it's actually achieving what you want to achieve. And it's starting to give like a slight feel of a curve in there. This is creating the highlight, sort of like what was going on in here as well. Not quite ready to stop yet, but I can feel my energy and my attitude improving. I can feel that healing process. Love it. Absolutely love it. I'm sure you can hear it's a windy day out there. It's moving out the little tiles in the ceiling and such. Get that a little too much. And I want to be careful not to get too bright down here because I'm going to end up having to darken that back up again because I added too much of that. So let's go ahead and add a tad bit of that green in there. Create that shadow. You can do it again on this side too. And as I'm going with the shape of what I'm actually making, I'm not like just painting it on there. You go with the shape, it keeps it from flattening it out too much as you're painting. Because remember, your goal is to make a 2D surface look three-dimensional. And then I'm actually going to add a little blue in there to darken it as well. Because remember, yellow and green make blue. So that's going to help me out as well. Usually I'll use a darker blue. Yep, that's not going to work. I'm going to have to add that to my palette. And usually I just take these food containers. And it keeps the paint wet. So I'm going to stop there on that. Oops. Stop there, and then you can see all my other little containers that are falling down. And pick it up again later. Have a great day.